Today I'm going to be making something really yummy, and these are super fudge brownies. So let's get on with the ingredients. 2 cups of white sugar, a half a cup of all-purpose flour, 4 eggs, 1 cup of salted butter, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and 2 cups of chocolate chips. 1 cup here, 1 cup here. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. Okay, so I've got my little hot plate here. It's just an element like you'd see on top of your stove. I'm heating some water. I just have a little bit of water in there. I'm going to take a glass bowl and I'm going to put that on top. And what I'm doing here is creating a double boiler, okay? Also called a bain-marie. And what it's going to do is it's going to gently melt our chocolate and our butter for us. So I'm going to take 1 cup of our chocolate chips and get that in there. Okay, and this is just an easy, safe way to melt your chocolate without actually scorching it. So we're just going to start letting this melt. And then we're going to get all of our butter in here. There we go. And we just want to melt and combine all of this together. So to help this out a little bit, I'm just going to break my butter down so that more of the butter will touch the heat of our glass bowl. So I'm just going to break this down. You can break this down beforehand by cutting the butter into little cubes. Doesn't really matter, whichever way you like to do it. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to let the water gently heat up all of this mixture until it's fully combined, and then we're going to remove it from the heat. And you don't want to have too high of a boil inside here, you just want to simmer. I've got mine down. I'm going to leave it around 1 here because this little unit, which is made by Sultan, very strong. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So what I'll do is I'm just going to let this go for a little while. It might take 3 or 4 minutes for this to really melt up. I'll come back, back and forth as it's getting melted down. So I'll let that go for a little bit and then I'll be back. Alright, so this is about a minute or so later. You can see it's starting to melt very nicely. And what's great about a double boiler or a bain-marie is that you never have to worry about scorching your chocolate. So if you are doing other things in the kitchen while you're doing this, you don't have to worry about it. And you really shouldn't be heating chocolate directly, in a pot over the stove. You could have also heated up your chocolate in the microwave, but for today I like to just do this. It's very fun and relaxing. Okay, so we're getting there, so we'll just leave it like that for a while and we'll come back in a few minutes. Alright, so while we're waiting for our chocolate to heat up, I'm just going to crack all of my 4 eggs and just get those ready, just to speed things up a little bit. So this recipe calls for 4 eggs. So I'll just get all of those in there. There we go. There's 3. We'll just turn that down again. What I do is I just play with the heat. I turn it on a little bit and then I turn it off for a little bit. Okay. Okay, so this has been going about another minute or so. And at this point there are just a few little pieces of butter in our chocolate. However, our chocolate is warm and that will completely melt up the rest of this. So you can see it's a really nice consistency now. So at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this from our little hot water bath and I'm going to set up and we're going to start working on our egg mixture. So what you want to do at this point is you just want to take this, move it off somewhere safe and just let it start cooling down, okay? Because we don't want the chocolate to be too hot when we incorporate the rest of our ingredients. So just remove it from your heat and let it chill a little bit. Just sit it over on the stove somewhere and let it cool down. Alright, so I've moved my chocolate over just to cool a little bit, and now I have my 4 eggs in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix these up. I want to really combine these really well. So I've got my mixer on full speed. I'm just going to mix this for 30 seconds or so. Okay, that's good. And at this point I'm just going to put down my little tea towel, just like that. All right, that's good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our sugar. So I'll just get my mixer going a little bit here, and we're going to incorporate all of our sugar. And just add it in a little by little. When you mix ingredients together, it's kind of like a friendship. You want to, learn to know somebody over time. You don't want to just dump things in, and at 100%. Just slowly pour them in. Both ingredients want to know each other a little bit on a slower kind of, basis. Like a good friendship. So there we go. That's good. You can see how nice and fluffy this is now. Can you see that? Very nice. Alright, and then we're going to take our vanilla. I'll get that in there. That's good, perfect. Okay, so I got my pan ready. I'll show that to you in 1 second. Let's just mix this up just to make sure everything is still well combined. There we go. Okay, that's good. And now for the chocolate to reappear. So we've got our chocolate here. Just going to move this over to the side. We've got our chocolate back here. And oh, that smells good. So there we go. Alright, so at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding in all of our nice mixture here. We just want to combine both of these together. Oh, that looks good. And it smells really, really good. Okay, and then I'm going to get my spatula. I'll get the rest of this beautiful mixture in here. So I'm going to be using a 9x13 pan. I've lined mine with parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, you can just spray it with cooking spray like Pam or whatnot, and then just put a little bit of flour in there and shake it around just to dust your pan. There we go. Or if you have a really, really new Teflon pan, you don't even need that at all. So there we go. So we're just going to mix this. I want this well combined. And the only thing we have left now is our flour and our chocolate chips, that extra 1 cup of chocolate chips. Now because these are brownies, you notice that I haven't added any type of leavening agent into here, into the actual recipe. And that's because we want it to be a brownie, we don't want it to be a cake. Because if you add any type of, leavening agent, like baking powder, what will happen is you're going to have more of a cake-like consistency. So there we go, that's good. And now I'm just going to add in my flour. We'll just mix that in quickly. Don't add it all in at once because you're more apt to getting little lumps in your batter. Just like that. There we go. And our last little bit. And this is almost ready for our pan. So we do have our oven preheated right now, 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, and that's good. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to fill our pan. Alright, I'll just move this to the side a little bit. So here I have my pan. This is a really new pan. I would have no problem popping the brownies out if I just use this, but I'm using parchment just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm just going to get that in there like that. And then we're just going to get all this right on the top. There we go. And now I've got a larger spatula just to make the job a little quicker. And we want to get all of that goodness into our pan. Beautiful. Okay, let's bring that around here so you can see a little better. There we go. And now the last thing that we need to do, just going to grab our chocolate chips. You can just take a few in your hand and just start sprinkling them all over the place, just so that they're even. And I'm using a cup here. If you want to use more, that's up to you, but I find a cup is fine. This smells really, really good. So I'm going to pop the brownies into my 325 degree oven. I'll let you know exactly how long I bake them when they're out. It's going to be around 35 minutes, 40 minutes, somewhere around there. Okay, so off to the oven. Alright, so here are my super fudge brownies. They came out of the oven a little while ago. I have let them cool down quite a bit, and I baked them for exactly 40 minutes at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, I've got a little spatula here, and what I like to always do is just go around the edges, just to make sure that I get a nice clean break. There we go, and I can already see the whole thing moving. There we go, beautiful. Alright, and then I'm just going to grab. Oh, it's still quite warm. Okay, so I'm going to grab just with the two little handles and just lift right like that. And boom, bada bing, done. There we go. Alright. Oh, these smell really, really good. And you can see that the chocolate chips that we poured in right at the end, they have slightly melted, but you can still see them, and that's what we want to see in the final product. So I'll grab a knife and we'll cut into these. Alright. Let's just cut off a little row and see how they are. Oh, those look good. Let me get a little plate. There we go. Exactly what I wanted. Really, really nice and ooey gooey. Oh, these are super, super moist, super fudgy. Yum. Oh, they smell so good. There we go. You can see how much moisture is in those. Oh, just full of chocolate. Look at that. Perfectly, perfectly baked. Oh, very, very good. So I hope you enjoyed this video. These are my super fudge brownies. And that's it for this video, so I'll see you next time. Look at that. Oh, so moist. Oh, these are good.